Let's roll the dice again and see if my internet will shit itself, because it tends to do that. Hold on, I do need to probably pause syncing until tomorrow. Because otherwise my internet is going to shit itself if I try to also download Dropbox files at the same time. That's probably not a good idea to try to do. So I think today we can actually make it all the way through if I don't get too distracted, which, knowing me, like, there's a good chance that I will. I think we can finish this, because all that we need to do is add a couple of sound effects, add a little bit of music, add a main menu, add a proper save menu, and maybe like spice up some of the UI elements a little bit. And that's kind of all there is to it. Everything works. Again, last time when we left off, we pretty much had a like more or less functional game, which is really quite nice. Now, I need to figure out, hold on, I put some MP3 files in the project directory, and we're going to be importing those. I probably also, at some point, should clean up this folder, but we won't, because frankly, this project is almost done, so it doesn't really matter. So we have a music folder here now, and in my resources, I have music, and I generated 3 tracks with the AIVA, I don't know, AIVA. I don't really know what to pronounce that as, but the AI music generation thing. So we have a couple of songs here. I don't know how loud this will be. Fairly loud. Let's actually put this on my headphone speakers instead, so you don't get the echo. So this is kind of what they all sound like. Like, they use the same instrument set. They're all like 8-bit, bit-tune type of things. Upbeat, like really relaxed, happy kind of music, just to have something in the background, you know? Can I like scroll through in any way, shape or form? Because I would very much like to just like skip through a little bit. Anyway, I got to set all of them to looping to begin with, so let's do that while we listen to every single track. Sounds pretty good. I didn't make this myself, I should point out. Like, I kind of directed the AI, right? There's a little bit more than just saying, hey, make this happen and then have it happen. But like, I didn't compose this. The only thing that I did is like go in, change which instruments like were playing the melodies at what point in the song. I edited that a little bit, and I chose the instruments. And of course, I set up like the initial inspiration. I used Stardew Valley music for the inspiration for the AI. But the composition is entirely like not made by me. So then we have this next one, which is effectively the same composition, but in a different key. So I'm thinking one of these is probably going to be the main menu music, and now one of these is going to be music that plays in the actual gameplay. And then we have this third song, which is probably also going to play in the gameplay, just to have like a little bit of variation, because it is pretty significantly different. I'm probably going to be... I still have a bit of a cold, so there's going to be a couple of coughs throughout the stream. Sorry for that. I'll probably finish up this game today, and I'll need to test it out in like a packaged version, because I haven't done that yet. Which we might as well do today too, if we have the time. And then probably sometime this week, when I find the time to do so, I'll make an itch.io page. And you see, this is where it starts getting different. And I'll probably like make a community post about it on the YouTube channel, and I'll of course link it in the Discord and stuff like that for everybody to play. Again, there isn't that much gameplay to do. I don't think this is necessarily like a very fun game. Hopefully it's like interesting to play at least a little bit, to, like just have a bit of like a laid-back experience. I don't know how the balancing of the economy is. I feel like it's going to be very unbalanced. So I do want to preface that by saying all that. There's like a lot of polish is probably missing. But anyway, so let's add these two to a queue, which will be gameplay, music. I think we can just kind of drag this in, right? Yeah. Let's... Thank you. I can hear myself think again. The game is a trading card game tycoon. Oh, we actually have the music now playing in the game. So the basic idea is like you buy booster packs. With 16:9 aspect ratio, you can actually see all 3 booster packs, but we also have like the scroll box just in case. So you buy booster packs, which gets you some cards. It's kind of fucked with not showing cards sometimes with the UI. But you get these cards, right? So you buy another booster pack, you get more cards, and at some point out of money. I'm probably going to make the booster packs a little bit more expensive. I don't know, we'll see. And then we have all that in our inventory. So now we have like a bunch of cards that we just bought, and they all have like a market rate value, and we can put them into these display cases, and then customers will eventually come in and buy them. So I can say, okay, this is the market value for this is 10, so let's try to sell it for 12. This will make customers slightly less likely to buy it. We have like a linear fall off for that. I also need to make these guys a little bit less stupid still. But then, for instance, if we take this one, which is valued at 30, if I try to sell it for like 25, that means that the customers are going to be slightly more likely to buy it. And you'll also see that the lighting around them changes depending on the card rarity. And every X amount of time, I think every 90 seconds, might be every 300 seconds. Probably should be every 90 seconds, to be honest. There's also a weird black flash with some of these guys. I don't know why. Every X amount of time, what happens is the entire game goes through... let's see, we have like these assets here. Every single one of these cards, and it's going to increase or decrease their like market value by plus or minus 10%, which is weighted slightly toward increasing more when a card hasn't been sold recently. And if you have sold a card recently, especially if you've sold multiple of that card recently, it's way toward decreasing in value instead. So you can't just keep selling the same card if you have like 100 of them. Kind of simulates like supply and demand in like an economy system. So that's the basic rundown of the game. Again, in order for that to actually be like fun for longer than 10 minutes at a time, I'm sure a lot of extra balancing will need to be done. I feel like this game is going to be very easy to like break. It's going to be very easy to get very rich very quickly, and the allure of it being fun is probably going to be gone in less than an hour of playtime, which is why I'm not putting it up on Steam. I'm putting it up on itch.io for free. Because I don't want to charge people for this. Because that just doesn't sound like a very fair thing to do. Anyway, so we have the music playing in here. So let's make a main menu, I guess. The thing that I was thinking about there is we have the shop level. And let's now just make a copy of that. Shop level 1 will turn into main menu. And we'll just like get rid of the player here. And this one will also just get a game mode override for the base game mode, so that it doesn't actually do anything. Most of the code that I just talked about exists in the game mode, so that is why. Did I set this up to take in like default values just for like decoration purposes? I think I still can make that work, right? Wait, what? Oh, I can make that work. Yeah, I can make that work. We can set card visibility in here, and then we can, I don't know, preview card. This is just for like the cinematic background in the main menu. It's not actually going to be getting used. So we have the card asset that we can then pass in, and the ID would be that then. Let me think for a quick moment. I guess we just set that to inventory components, cards, 1. Yeah. So we specifically like get cards and set array elements, index 0. We make card slots, preview card. I guess we also... Let's make this one just entirely random, actually. Nah, let's just promote it to variable. That's less bothersome. Again, this is just so that the main menu, I want to have like a pan over all of those things as one of the shots in the background. So the idea is now that they are by default empty, but I can like put a card into them. Which actually, now that I think about it, hold on, now that I think about it, first and foremost, this doesn't seem to work. But it also doesn't actually matter because I can just make a fake one. Yeah, that's probably going to be easier. Hold on, let's just get rid of this again. And let's just make a fake one instead. You could put it on Steam for free, but you would have to pay to put it on Steam. Yeah, I'm not paying like $100 to put it on Steam. Because that seems like a little like unnecessary altogether. Again, I'm happy to put things on Steam, but I want to put things on Steam when I feel like I actually like want to share it with people and want people to play it. And this is more of a, I did an experiment and you might as well play around with it kind of thing. Nothing like that I'm very seriously like invested in, either emotionally or financially. Display case. Display case. Fake. And we'll just put those in there. Let's see, what kind of height is this one at? 16. Let's put these ones at 16 as well then. And I guess for this one we don't need a nav mesh maybe. So we can get rid of these modifiers. I am in the main menu level, right? Yes, I am. Okay. Post-processing volume. That actually does do something. Oh, yeah, that actually does make it look a lot better. Yeah, we had one more. Maybe not. Sure. This game, I think I worked on on stream. Like, I started doing this as a experiment to try out Godot, and then I found that actually I don't very much like it, working in Godot. So my argument there was, even for a 2D game, I think I would still prefer Unreal Engine over Godot. I I don't know if I still agree with that idea. To be 100% honest, I feel like maybe not. But I felt like, well, saying that, I kind of got like put my money where my mouth is, right? And yeah. Display case manager, we'll delete that in a moment. So I figure, if I'm gonna say that, I probably should actually like make it in Unreal. And then I started making it in Unreal, and I was like, okay, there's definitely like the things that I was annoyed about in Godot aren't a problem anymore. But there's then the issue that Unreal is just not an engine for 2D particularly. So, long story short, I spent, I think, 2 or 3 weeks in Godot, and then about a month to a month and a half doing this in Unreal, but only on stream, so that's like 4 hours a week of work. So altogether, I think this game, if you count the Godot streams as well, which, like, we did some art in that as well, so I think I will count that. And like a lot of deciding how systems are going to work. We also wasted a lot of time trying to figure out how Godot works. But I think that's like 4 hours a week or so. Well, no, the first couple of Godot streams were like 6 hours long. But still, let's say about 4 to 5 hours a week. So that's about 20 hours a month. I think I'm probably about like 40 to 50 hours of work into this game. So it's not that much. I dare say even that's quite like small. that is still game jam side, in my opinion. Let's give these some fun colors. They're not going to exactly match the colors for the actual game, but what do you know? It's the main menu. I don't care. Just gotta look good. Oh, it's actually live. It is, yes. And for once, my internet seems to not be dying, which is also really good. Now that I've said that, though, who wants to bet that this is going to drop in like 5 seconds? Because that's just kind of what my life is sometimes. I think we also have like a blue color, right? I don't know. Just gotta give these fancy colors to look good on the menu screen, and then we'll call it a day. This is not representative of the actual game, which is the downside of faking it, but I'm happy. So we have this now. I guess what I can do is, instead of putting the actual player character in there, because I definitely don't want that, what I can do is I can just put a sprite in there, right? So I can just say character sprites, player. There we have you. Location, locate. That's a little too much. Just want to ever slightly behind there. Okay, let's make a little cinematic here to show during the main menu. Just something that can loop a little bit. Where is the cinematics again? There we are. Main menu loop. can just put that in there. Open level sequence, and we're just going to put in a couple of cameras real quick. I actually don't know that I want this to be done through like my viewport, because that seems like a bad idea. Is it minus 90? It's minus 90. And then this should just be 0. Oh, maybe not 0. Maybe it should be 90. There we go. And then I guess... yeah, so that's the reason that I didn't want to do that, because it's kind of annoying to do it this way. But we can just try. No, this needs to be... What the hell am I doing? 90? Minus 90. There we go. I don't exactly know. I guess we'll start with a keyframe here. Then take like 3 seconds. 4 seconds. Let's just do 5 seconds. To move like all the way up to there. What does that look like actually? That needs to be linear. Hold on. Gonna see stuff about your game on your channel. I need to take a look at understanding what kind of game you're working on. The entire process of making this particular game that I'm working on right now is documented in live streams on the channel. So you can check that out if you want to. There's also a lot of like devlog content about like the action RPG that I'm working on. That I've been working on for like 2 years at this point, and it still is kind of shit. I think it even needs to be slower, to be honest. This is going to need to be like a very slow and long cinematic. So let's just increase this to there. 150. Let's go up to like 250 for this. See what that looks like. And eventually, the entire process... Oh, yeah, of course. That makes sense. The entire process is going to be, like, recapped in a video as well of making this particular game. But that's not... Like, that might be the video that I upload next month. Maybe the month after. I don't know. Frankly... For just like a main menu scroll, I think it's okay if it's even slower. Like, this is a pretty good tempo, I think. Yeah, let's go with this. And then on frame 420, because of course it's gotta be frame 420. We add a new camera again. And then we got to this camera. And this one is going to be showing off those little display cases that we just had down there somewhere. They are technically perspective cameras and not autographic cameras, which might be an issue, but we'll see. 840. Let's take that as the first attempt here. I don't know if this is a bigger movement or a smaller movement, to be honest. I feel like this is a smaller movement. So it should be a little bit shorter. But first, let's make these linear. No, that seems pretty good to me, to be honest. That's pretty fine. Okay, let's just stick with that then. Like, honestly, at this point, we've gotten to a length where most people aren't even going to see the end of this particular part of the animation. Because it's just the main menu. Again, people are going to be clicking away long before this, presumably. But it'll be good to have a little bit of noise variation in there. This doesn't really do anything, to be honest. It's just there for decoration purposes, but so that would be 1260 if it's the same length again. I feel like maybe this one could do with being a little bit shorter or faster, but we'll see. No, it's the wrong axis. Make them linear. And I think that's the entire like main menu cutscene, to be honest with you. It's also, again, pretty good. There is a little, like, tiny little bit of parallaxing going on, which, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's also not that big a deal, I don't think. So this is what the main menu will look like. There's not a lot of movement going on it, as in, of course, the camera is moving, but that's about it. But when we get to the top here, we cut over to there. I think for a main menu, this is good. Like, I'm happy with this. Sure, let's stick with that. What I'm not happy with is the fact that my camera always gets messed up in this 2D stuff. We autoplay, we loop indefinitely, and that's all there is to that, I think. So let's add in our main menu music here as well, which also, I think if we just play this now, we... Oh, there's two of them. There's two audio players. Hold on. That's not good. Sound. That was very cursed. Let's just put that one in there. Okay. I mean, this is a pretty good introduction, I think. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh. Except that it kicks us out at the... Oh, I know why. That's annoying. We didn't make the camera track long enough here. Anyway, you get the basic idea. So now we just need a... I don't have, like, a logo for the game. Like a title. It's TCG Tycoon, but I don't, like, have any art for that. So, I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, like, kind of ignore that. And we'll just make a load game and a new game. And that'll be all there is to it. Canvas, panel. Fucking just two buttons. It's kind of all I can do, I think. Let's be nice and put them in a vertical box. Let's pretend like we care. Oh, that's the wrong way around. The bot needs to go in the box, not the other way around. Although it is interesting that you can do it the other way around. I didn't know that. I guess we just anchored it to the middle of the screen. And then we set the position to 0, 0. And the alignment to 0.5 and 0.5. Oh yeah, and then we can set the size like this. Okay, cool. Can I guess I can just make it fill. And then give them a little bit of padding on the bottom here. So if I do like 50, well, I can do 50 and then just make this Y size. Yeah, there we go. New game. Load game. Don't need to be a rich text block. Nobody is saying that anybody's rich. New game. Let's just make that black. Load game. In both cases, what we need to do is open the level. But let me actually check because I entirely forgot. In the game mode, we have our save slots. Oh, it's just I just literally called it save slot. You know what? That makes sense. I guess we'll just like forward that to the game instance or something. Yeah, we'll just make a quick blueprint for that. Do we have a specific game instance class already in C++, actually? I don't think we do. Save game. Yeah, we never made a game instance for anything. So we'll just make that in blueprint. That's okay. It's just the easiest way to go between maps and tell whether or not something needs to be loaded or not. So what we'll do is we'll make a game instance TCG Tycoon instance, and in there we'll just get a save slot name string. This is the main menu, right? Yes. So when we do new game, on clicked, we get game instance. We cast to TCG Tycoon game instance, and we set save slot name. And with new game, we just set that to being empty. And then if we load game, we kind of do the same thing, except we set it to save slot. And then in either case, what we do is we open level. We can do a bit object reference, that's fine. I think it's called shop level. Yeah, so we just open shop level after that, either way. Then in the main menu, we just add this to the viewport on begin play. So we have this level blueprint, begin play, we create a widget, main menu. And now our pause menu also needs to be able to have us go back to the main menu and have a proper save button, but we'll look into that in a moment. Yeah. So we add to viewport. And in theory, there we go. We have new game and load game. And if we do new game, it doesn't do shit. Why is that? Oh, because our game instance cast is failing. That makes sense. Game instance. We need to set that to our new game instance that we just made. So now, let's try again. New game. Here we are. Add a new game. Cool. So the only thing we need to do then, to actually make that work, is to go into our shop level. There we are. And in the shop level, what we do is on begin play as well. We open up the blueprint. On begin play, we check like does save game exist, and we get that from the game instance. Cast that to our TCG Tycoon game instance. Save slot name. And we just check whether or not that save game slot exists or not. And if it does, we load it from the game mode. So we game, get game mode. That needs to go into a branch first though. Cast that to our TCG Tycoon game mode. And we load game. And now, I think if that's the shop level, we need to go back to the main menu level real quick. I think if we load game, we should now load the game. So load game. This takes a moment. And we have 290 money, so that's good. We have things in our inventory, so that's good. And we've got cards on sale, so that's good. Got to double and triple check whether or not it loads the game regardless. So let's do new game. Nope. It creates a blank game. So new game and load game both work. That was easy. To be fair, I did all the work for the save and loading system like 3 weeks ago when coding all this shit. So I'd better hope that it works at this point. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? I've been just rambling about a lot of stuff. So I guess at this point we just add a save button to our inventory screen. Which is where exactly again? It's not this one. This is the chest inventory. That's not what I want either. Player inventory, there we go. So we just kind of like copy this one over. I guess we put a little bit of distance in between just to have it be a little safer. And just call this the save button. And all that this needs to do, again, it's remarkably simple from this point forward. It's just implementing all the code that we already made. Because we literally just get game mode, cast it to TCG Tycoon game mode, and then we just fucking save game, and that's all there is to it. And then we'll also make a back to main menu, which will also only be accessible through here. So we probably should put these in a box as well, to be honest. Back to menu. Then we put in anything to make this like wrap around. Does that need to be like a rich text block? Probably needs to be a rich text block for that to work. Hold on. Back to main menu. The fuck are you talking about? Oh, now we need to like supply a font in, and even then we don't have enters. What do we like? There's a way to make these wrap automatically, right? I'm not just making that up. If true, we'll automatically wrap the text in the next indentation panel. Auto wrap. Oh, it's just auto wrap. There we go. Okay. Sometimes it's just as easy as that. There we go. Let's put this up a little higher. And all that this needs to do is just open main menu level, right? So open level by object reference, main menu. I'm fairly certain it will just be that easy. Maybe. Oh, I'm too close to the chest. Okay. So back to main menu. This needs to work better. But effectively, that's all the like code that we still needed to do today. So let's just play this in a new editor window, just as a standalone. Oh, there is a... What the hell is that? Okay, we'll need to look into that. Oh, that's probably a default pawn that's spawning in. That's funny. That's funny. So yeah, this all works now. We can go back to main menu. Which takes a moment, but that's what you get with this kind of stuff not being async. That's just kind of fine. So that's a good point. That's a good point. I guess what we'll just do is in the main menu before we open level, get player controller. The issue we have, I think, is when we open this, we set the show mouse cursor to true, but we only set it, and then the input mode we changed, but we only set that back if we actually close the inventory. So what we just need to do is we need to set the input mode to game only and show mouse cursor to false. Whenever we do anything in the main menu, one of these buttons. before we open the level. Which again, I'm fairly certain that we can open levels async, like load level. Like that is something that we can do, right? Let me just try, because if we can make something happen with it not being blocking, that would be ideal, but this definitely is not going to be async, so load level. There's only a stream level though. But maybe that still loads it into memory, making the open level instant. So that is worth taking a look at. Because if that's what that does, that would be kind of neat. Should block on load. No, it should not. The game itself takes a moment to boot up because it's like indexing a bunch of stuff for all those assets. Yeah, now it's still blocking. Let me real quick try to use Google to see if I can find anything. Unreal load level before opening. I found my own video about streaming levels, but I'm not streaming yet. It's quite important that we have like specifically different levels for these. Or different, yeah, because of the game modes and stuff. I want to load my world, comes to sublevels, with noting that level loaded will return false if you immediately call after the sublevel is loaded. It's only for sublevels. So I don't think I can preload a different level and then open it. I do remember somebody saying that in the comments of that video at some point though. But I don't know, people say a lot of weird stuff in comments sometimes, so that might just not be true. Yeah, so this forum post also says, hey, if you want to use open level, you're just kind of fucked. Might be something that you can do through C++, I imagine. If you like async loaded as an asset. I can try to load it as an asset, maybe. It is an asset, isn't it? That's worth trying. Load assets. Right. If we like shop level. Cost to level world, maybe. What are the odds of it just like being in memory and this just working now? Pretty slim. But not nothing. Unreal open level without blocking. I guess I can actually make it into yeah, so I could do a little bit of extra work and make both of them into streaming levels into like one persistent level and then switch back and forth between the two. But that feels like it's going to break stuff at some point. I'd rather not. Best way to load maps without freezing the camera. That's the exact same thing that I want. So, given scene 1, large scene, streaming scene 2 in the background. Yeah, all this doesn't really work though. World composition. Maybe I can just make them always loaded in the background. It's such a small game, right? Levels hierarchy. So we have levels, right? It's really annoying that the documentation for a lot of stuff still shows the Unreal 4 UI. Because this, like, there's some levels details, which is fantastic, but, like, doesn't actually do anything for me, I don't think. We're just gonna kind of deal with the fact that it's blocking. I really don't feel like figuring out anything to, like, solve an issue that's like really not actually an issue, right? So yeah, with that I think everything technically works. Oh, the one thing that I still wanted to do, actually, I almost forgot, is open up the NPC real quick. We had an idea in the Discord today, which was actually quite nice, and that is changing this from a U box component to a U cylinder component, I think it's called, right? Do we not have a cylinder? We don't. Ooh, I thought we did. I thought we did. Apparently not. Where even is the box component? What kind of collision things do we have? Yeah, so we've got capsule, sphere, and box. So the idea that we had is making the collisions round after all, so that they don't get stuck as easily. Because I feel like that is still the main issue here. That they get stuck because they're so jagged with their collision. But I thought there was a cylinder as well. To be fair, maybe we could just add a cylinder and set it to not render. Maybe that works. And I only use its collision. I don't think it's that big a deal. The only thing that I do want to do is, in this, like pick display case, we pick one at random, we move there. If it is valid anyway, move to location, on move, finish, we decide whether or not we want to buy the card. No. We delay. We need to wait for random flows in range between 1 and 3.5 seconds. Make it look like they're thinking, and then they decide to buy the card and do this entire other thing. So yeah. Now the only thing that I am still slightly worried about is why sometimes they show like that black outline. So let's try to get to the bottom of that. Because all these sprites seem to have proper alpha. So it can't be that. Makes me think that it might be something to do with the material specifically. But I would really prefer if it wasn't. Wait, am I using the vertex? What the fuck? Why am I using the vertex color for anything? Like, at all? There's no reason to be using the vertex color, I don't think. That might be the thing that's fucking things up. Let's put that right 2 in there. And that right 2 in there. And delete this. I have to imagine that's the thing that was messing me up before. Let's load game. And wait for one of these fuckers to show up. This is Unreal Engine. There's also something weird with this tile here, which I need to look into in a moment. I think I just accidentally gave one tile collision when it shouldn't have. Okay. Are you gonna flash black? Okay, it's a little weird. But it doesn't flash black anymore, so that's good. Just need to, like, when you walk down, you... The up and down movements are not... Okay, so their animations are a little bit fucked. And with a little bit fucked, I mean, like... Very. How do we do... This is NPC animation. Their input direction will just... You know what? The easiest way to fix this is just to go into the NPC idle and walk sets. And just say, hey, this becomes this. And let's see, we have... That becomes that. I think that's just the easiest way to fix this, to be honest with you. Is it a good solution? No. No, it's not. Is it a functional solution? I think so. halfway, anyway. I also want to add in one more check, because I think if they, like, run into any collision, yeah, they will automatically... Well, it technically makes sense, what they're doing here. But if they're moving that slowly, I don't think they should be displaying a different sprite. I think they should, like... Honestly, it's just kind of trying and error. Just kind of need to figure out what that threshold looks like. I think 1 will still be too low. Now I think about it, because their movement speed is like 600. But maybe if they're stuck on my collision... Okay, that was a little weird. Yeah, you see, that's a little better. Okay, that maybe is not. Let's take a look at what the hell is going on with this tile over here in the tile map, because something is really messed up with it. And I'm not entirely sure what that be. It could be... So... Might be something to do with that. Oh, layer 4. There we go. Yeah, so this needs to, like, not be there. Hold on. So if we just remove that, re-enable this. And then... Not on layer 4, but on layer 1, we set this to that tile. I think now it should be fixed. Maybe. At least this part is easy to find out. See, we can walk here now. That's fantastic. They're not very good at avoiding me, though. But that is fixable still. I have an ID. I have an ID. And they won't be very good at avoiding each other, too. I don't know if that's actually going to be a big enough problem for me to care. So we... BB player. Nav Nash modifier. Which I guess just... I don't know. We'll mark ourselves as an obstacle, I think. That will improve things a little bit. Let's see if it does. Because we have, like, a runtime updated nav mesh. Which is quite expensive to run, obviously. Yeah, now he will try to navigate around me. We're actually not that bad at it either. So if we just also put one of those in... I don't know how this is going to affect themselves. But if we just put one of those also in the NPC, that might make them freak out. But that might also make them navigate around each other. I don't think it'll make them freak out, actually. Let's see if it does. I think I hear some thunder in the background. Gonna have a big storm coming up? Yeah, so this doesn't seem to make him freak out. Until it does! Yeah, okay, so maybe don't do that. Unless I can somehow get it to work in a way where it only makes it see it as an obstacle for the rest, but I think that's not how nav meshes work, right? Nav meshes don't, like, they don't have values per agent. Like, the agent finds, like, at that point it becomes an EQS kind of thing. Which, to be fair, we could set up like an EQS system for this, but I don't want to. Because I don't think there's going to be an issue. So we'll just leave it at where we have it right now, which is, I think, good enough. So, let's add a couple of sound effects. Just download them from YouTube, right? I want a cash register sound effect. Cash register sound effects, exactly. An error occurred. That's exactly the sound effect that I want. Thank you very much. Used as YouTube downloader. Yeah, I have the entire Stardew Valley soundtrack downloaded. Because I use that for the AI. There you go. And let's also do like a button click sound effect as well. And we'll like modulate both of those a little bit. Okay. The first one is failing to download so far, so that's not a good sign. They're both failing to download. Let's try to download them as a video file instead. Might just be the fact that my bandwidth is like used up by the fact that I'm streaming. Okay, so it's not wanting to download anything at the moment. That's annoying. Oh well. We'll just use a external download website instead of the nice little program that I got for this. Where did I put those links? I'll just find them again. Cash register, sound effects, and then YouTube MP3 downloader. It's only about 5 billion of those online, so probably be fine. Let's move that into our sounds folder. I'll just put it in the music folder, actually, that's fine. And then we also want a button click sound effects. Button click sound effects. Something a little bit more meaty. I don't want to be cutting up stuff. Button press might be more what I'm looking for. We can work with that. I'll just open this one up in Audition real quick and trim it. That's fine. Where the fuck did Audition go? Audition? My guy. Where the... What the... Adobe? Adobe. I guess I can just... Oh, Audition is in the middle of crashing, that's why. Let's try again. Worst case scenario, I use Audacity. I think I have it installed. Hold on. Okay, it's behind my taskbar. So I can't even click on it. And it's still just in the process of crashing as well. Okay, we're not using Audition. Fine. That's annoying. Do I have Audacity installed? I don't, actually. Oh, that's a bummer. I guess I just open up a Premiere project instead. You guys get a little preview at what I've been working on over these past couple of weeks. Month. More than a month, actually, at this point. This is the entire Niagara particle course. It's about 3 hours long. I started the upload for it today to the Patreon. So over, like, I think this weekend I scheduled it in for. The Patreon will get the full thing. It'll be a 12-part series coming out, I think, at a cadence of 2 uploads a week over the next, like, month or so on YouTube. Month and a half. Anyway, so now that we have that, we can just drag this in here. I'll just use Adobe Premiere to trim it instead. It's good. I have Premiere open anyway. Let's see if we also want to trim the cash register sound a little bit. I think we do. And then I'll queue both of those up in Media Encoder and export them back as MP3 files. If Audition doesn't want to work, I'd make it work. Well, I didn't actually make it work. Where did the other one go? Oh my god. Button. It's called Button. Should be up pretty high. Oh, it's just both in there. Okay. But yeah, so if one thing doesn't work, we just find an alternative, right? Yeah, let's maybe not export those as YouTube 4K videos. That seems like a very bad idea. Just simply as MP3 files will do. And then I want to put them into... Let's do a subfolder because Premiere doesn't like overwriting files that it's currently using for good reason. And then we can import those finally back into Unreal in the sounds folder. And then we can create a queue. And you might think, hey, why do we need a queue for this? Because we're going to be using that to like modulate it a little bit. So the pitch and the volume will be in a range of about 10%, meaning that it's going to sound a little different every time. Let's actually like make this like 85 and like 120. Specifically the pitch can probably do with being slightly different. 1.5 even? I don't think we wanted to go too low, but... let's do 1.7. And the volume is pretty good like this. And there's a bunch of other stuff that we can do as well if we wanted to, but for now I don't think it really matters. I think I just want to modulate them. That's kind of all there is to it. The cash register is going to need to be a lot more subtle in the modular effect. Because there's a lot more like actual definition to that sound. You see, like the 10% range works very well for that, I think. So we just it's a very good question. I think we like just in the booster pack whenever we buy. No. Instead, it is in the... I have way too many blueprints open. Holy hell. Good morning. Back right to you. Oh, also, I'm very sorry. The chat's been... How do you manage going to one level to another Unreal 5? I have a video about that. If you look it up on my channel, like loading levels in Unreal Engine, that will show you a good way to do it. You have the open level node, which I use in this project right here. I don't recommend using that for like 99% of scenarios if you can help it. It depends on your game, though. Sometimes you do need to do that. Sometimes it makes more sense to do it that way. But for a lot of games, I think just using like streaming levels and loading those in is a lot smoother. Also comes with a little bit more like programming work to do, though, to keep track of everything. Now, yeah, streaming levels. Look, it kind of depends, right? Because if you want to load in entire levels, like through menus and that kind of stuff, it takes quite a bit of programming. If you're making a game where you can load in streaming levels as like zones, and you don't have like loading screens in between or whatever, and you can just seamlessly move from one into the other, it becomes a lot easier to deal with because you can just work with streaming level volumes, which just automatically load in and out certain streaming levels while you're inside them, or when you leave them. So if you can get away with doing it that way, that generally is just the easiest way to deal with loading in and out levels, like streaming levels. But if you have more traditional levels, like I can open my action RPG project in a moment if you want to. In that I have like these very specific rooms where if you leave a room, you like get teleported to another room. Like very traditional, like video game like levels. And for that I am like manually loading them in and out through like code. It's just a little bit more of a headache. But it still is better than just using open level for a variety of reasons. Like you stay in the same persistent level. That's the biggest thing. And open level will like make your game hang, which just doesn't feel that good. Like in Pokemon, when you enter a trigger box, you appear in another level. Yeah, so that's how my game works as well. That's a little bit more of a headache, but that's pretty much like what that video I have, like how to actually load levels in Unreal Engine, I think it's called. It's one of my more viewed videos, so it should be able, you should be able to easily find it. That's pretty much what that video is about, is when you enter a trigger box, it loads in another level and unloads the level that you were just in. That's how my game works, anyway. And I think that's a pretty good way to do it. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was doing the shop thing. I want to add a when we actually buy something. So we redraw card, add card. Hold on, we want to check if this is true. Yes. Then we also play a sound. Play sound. I think just 2D makes sense. And then we play the cash register queue. I don't really want to go through every button in every menu in my game and add in a sound effect when you press it, because that would be tedious to do. So let's just go through. Like when you press a close button to close a menu, your feedback is that the menu is gone. You don't need auditory feedback for like knowing that something happened. So we don't actually need to do that. I think for the chest inventory screen, the display inventory screen, yeah, I think for these ones it does make sense. So if we want to like find our first and foremost, our main menu. This doesn't do anything. I don't know if like play sound, like if the sound when it is played still runs on the main game thread. I have to imagine that once a sound is triggered, it won't hang on the main game thread, right? Like once a sound is actually triggered, surely that just like runs on a separate thread. I guess we're about to find out. Let's see. Yep, that just doesn't play the sound. Well, that's not ideal. I guess we put in a delay of like 0.1 seconds so that the sound itself can actually like permeate. Wait, where? My cursor. Well, that's fucking annoying, isn't it? And this is the exact reason that I don't want to use open level. Talking about loading levels, like this just... Let's see if open level has like a weird option that you can put in for async. I don't know. Unreal open level options. Will be wild if that's a thing that we can do, right? I don't think so. Open level async. I keep getting stuck on this. But it's because it's really annoying. Load package. Yeah, so no. Might just be a C++ thing, which I don't feel like getting into. Sync load, sync unload. Download image, async, primary assets, unload primary asset. Oh, we do actually have an unload primary asset. That's kind of nice. Well, we have an async for that as well. Maybe I need to do that in my game mode as well. It's probably a good thing to do. Do I want to start messing with this, though, is the question. I don't think so, really. So yeah, begin play, get asset by path. I think this is the line that's like stalling at begin play. No, it can be actually. Because this is in game mode and that does not run until the actual map opens. So it can't be that. Then I don't know what's causing that. Anyway, let's just see how long this sound is. Do we have like that information in seconds? Duration 0.33. Okay, 0.34. Where? There we go. 0.34. At least that'll play the entire sound and then we'll still hang. But like this part of the loading up of the game takes a while and I don't know why. At least it plays the entire sound now before, again, everything freezes. Oh well. So we just got this play sound 2D and I'm just gonna paste it in a bunch of different places now. Which is for sure the card itself. Well, maybe not in the card itself actually. But like in the chest inventory when we like move from one chest into the other. We play this sound. And then in the display inventory, we do that as well. So we have like one thing here. It's probably just easier to do that in the redraw inventory. Right, we'll test it out in a moment. And that chest inventory screen, that's fine. And then in this one, we also just want to, when we save, and we go back to main menu, we do this again. We delay by 0.34 seconds. And I think those are the most important things that needed to have a small sound effects in them. So let's test them all out. And then once we have everything tested, I think we can try to package it and see if things crash, because they might. I haven't packaged it at all yet, so anyway. Yeah, it feels much better now that it has sound effects, moving things back and forth. So that's good. Now that we're here anyway, let's buy. That's good. That also works. The last thing that I want to make work is in specifically this one. I want to get the one of these. Hold on. I think on key down, not on preview key down. Yeah, on key down. In key event is equal to get key is equal to either like enter or escape. I can't test escape because the Unreal Engine editor, but that will be an or boolean. We then close inventory, I think. Is this the right one? Yes, it is. Okay. Close inventory. I suppose we can, technically speaking, return, but we won't need to because we'll be closing the inventory, so that's fine. Return to type value unhandled. Because again, it literally does not matter. So now okay, that does not work. Is it preview key down? I always get them mixed up. I don't quite know the difference, if I'm being honest with you. I always have to test them both. So let's actually read. Called after a key of the controller is pressed when this widget is or a chart of it has focus. If a widget handles this event, on key down will not be passed to the focus widget. This event primarily allows parent widgets to consume an event before child widget processes it. And it should only be used when there's no better alternative. So, hold the fuck on, because that means that this should be running. In theory. I also need to set the default value here for the player controller to show cursor. Because it's really annoying otherwise. Is it technically not in focus when we do that? It might technically not be in focus. Hold on. When we... Like what? This should be... There should be an interface on this. Oh, there we go. Sets focus to this widget for the owning user. I think the last added thing should be maybe we need to set it to being owned by the player anyway. Doesn't really matter for the rest of them. Unless it does. But I don't think the rest of them necessarily need to be able to be cancelled through like enter or escape. It feels intuitive for like the sale things. So yeah, it's just not running that event. So I don't know why is it not running this on key down. I'm just gonna try on preview key down, and if that works, that'll be it. We'll just do that instead. Input key. Because there's no reason that shouldn't work, right? What I just did. I'm probably just overlooking something, I don't know. This doesn't do it either, though. That's interesting. We can handle this the other direction, though. What we can do is in the player instead, we can just it's going to require me to redo some of my code, I think. Let's take a look on whether or not that actually will be the case. But I was thinking in the player instead, if you keep track of the most recently added widget, we can only add one widget at a time anyway, I think. So we have this open inventory. That's fine. And then in the event graph, we have... that's... Huh? Oh, it's because I'm in entirely the wrong class. I'm in the PC, not in the player. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, we've got this query actors around. And if we found an inventory, then we return inventory was found. I guess what we can do is we can make this also return a widget reference. Oh, that's the input. I actually want that as an output. Hold on. And then I need to go into a couple of places and actually provide that output, but I think this is the easiest way to do that. So we have this. Okay, let's close a couple of things that we're no longer using. We will be using this in a moment. This is the NPC. We won't be using this. Won't be doing anything with the animation anymore. Won't be doing anything with this audio. Main menu, I think, just works, so that's fine. This game instance just works. Inventory screen will... That's a widget. We don't care about that. Material, we don't care about that. Animation stuff, we don't care about. Tile map, we don't care about. We'll use the player. There's a sound, widgets, sound, display case fake. We won't be using that anymore at all. PC, player, display case, open inventory. Okay, cool. So then the only thing left after that, I think, is the chest. Okay, so the idea being is that we can add a current widgets, which will just be a widget. Might need to be a user widget, I don't know. We'll see. And if we like enter key or the escape key, this is very, very well done. This we check if this is valid first, just to make sure that we have something open to begin with, and if it is valid, we remove from parents, and we also like... I just close that thing down. Okay. Get player controller. We'll just do it ourselves. We set show mouse cursor to false. We set input mode to game only. And here we just need to do in the open inventory. If we have found an inventory, our current widgets will be set to that new widget. And then in the display case, we have the open inventory. We simply, when we make this, also provide that as a return value. And we just kind of do that in every single one of these. This could have been a little bit more hierarchy, better set up in the hierarchy, to be fair. So I think that allows me now to just close all of the UI. Or at least like all of the relevant UI with those buttons. So it's actually probably better that we have to do it this way. So we can open it. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense, because the player controller doesn't... Yeah, no. Fuck. So what's happening here? Oh, that's also why the... no, that doesn't make sense. Maybe, I don't know. Since we're setting the input mode to UI only, it's not registering those inputs. But that's easy enough to fix. No, it's not. Is it? Yeah, so that's actually a problem. This is not going to work. I don't think I care enough at this point. Like, it's a minor issue that I would like to be improved. But it's also not a make or break kind of thing. So let's just throw this out for now. I guess we set up the basics of the system. Should we ever want to get back to it, I suppose. For now, that variable literally doesn't do anything, though. So let's instead just... The one thing that I still wanted to do is... like on event construct, add one more pin here. And I actually want to set this thing to be focused. I think that'll work. Set focus. Actually, let's get the player controller. And use the set focus on this. Just to be sure. And we'll now also do this, I think, on inventory redraw, which is actually what I want. I don't know if this is going to work the way I imagine it will, but what I want to have happen, if I can get it to happen easily, is whenever I put in a... I need to fix this. Whenever I put in a card, I want to immediately be able to like put in the value of it as well. Can't you choose input mode, game and UI, and then you can use the enter key. Yeah, but then I can also like walk around while the UI is open, and I don't want to be able to do that. So then I need to like keep track of whether or not I have a UI element open in my code to like process movement input and stuff, and I just don't want to do that. Okay, so this is now automatically selected. And if I click on this, yeah, so now I can easily say, okay, 10, now actually 15, 115 maybe, apparently. Okay, so that makes that at least a little bit more user-friendly. I would like to be able to close them with a button or with a key input, but for some reason it's not doing that. I'll Google it real quick. Unreal widgets on key down not firing. Maybe there's something. And there we have the rain. Holy hell, that came out of nowhere. Problem is solved by making the widgets focusable again. Is the widget just not focusable in general? Is that it? Focus is focusable. Ha, I think that might have been the issue. Yeah, I think that's probably the issue. So on key down. Before I start like putting in some code again. Let's just print a string. I should just open the shop map to test this out on. Okay, maybe not. Event constructs. Set keyboard focus. Actually, let's put that even after this. So that's also in redraw. We'll figure this out. If I don't drown in the rain, that is. Holy hell, that's a lot of water just falling out of the sky suddenly. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's doing much good. And it's also fucking up one of my other things, so that's like not great. I'd really prefer that to be not the case. User widgets is no longer focusable by default. Using user widgets should be unaffected. You could override the on key down in your widget. Yeah, I'm trying to do that, but it doesn't even check those. On key down just isn't firing. It could be that at this point on preview key down is fucking it up, so let's just delete that to be sure. And there is one hello that's being printed, right? Is that from this? And there we have lightning. And faraway thunder. There's something about a thunderstorm that's kind of cozy though, isn't there? Okay, so it just prints the hello regardless. Okay, so this clearly doesn't work. I have a different idea. Can we, like, assign? On text committed. At least this will allow me to close down the thing when you press enter after putting in a value. That's the thing that I'm after at the end of the day. So somewhere in here, in this mess of a noodle soup, I think I have a thing about text, like text to floats. Or float to text, rather. Hold on. Does that make sense? Oh, here. Oh, we already have an on-text committed event. Hold on. So this checks whether or not it's a numeric string. Then it prints that numeric string. Or if it's not, then it prints the string and sets the text to nothing. But if it is, it sets the sale value. And then I guess we just close inventory. I don't know if this works the way I want it to work, because when you click off of it, it might also commit the text, which is obviously not the behavior that we want. At that point, it would be better to just kind of have to deal with the fact that you have to press like a UI button to close that thing down, as annoying as it might be. If I now click off of it, yeah, this makes it literally impossible to switch cards. Never mind. Okay, we'll just kind of deal with it, to be honest. I think it's fine. We have... like, do we still need to do this, actually? Like, include these assets, like the levels? In those settings? It's a thing that we, at some point, used to have to do, but it feels like we probably, like, shouldn't need to anymore. In 2024. Because it seems like source code config INI files and otherwise can be missing from cook builds. Continue with the rename. You know what? I'm not gonna risk that. It's a good opportunity to test. Let's take this as an opportunity to test and not add those things in. What I do want to do, though, is the default map should be the main menu. Probably not for the editor startup, but we already have it now. Game default map as well. Transition map, I don't really care. Server default map, sure. Let's delete these two entries real quick. Content / maps. Do we have one of those? No. Anyway. Okay, so platforms, Windows, shipping, package projects. Let's see. We have the Unreal projects. I guess we just make a folder in this for builds. v1.o. Except I don't think you can technically put a dot in. Okay. Packaging field already. Holy hell. Why? A2D character .h29. A2D character.h. Oh. That's my bad. There we go. Shouldn't even need to rebuild for that because it's going to be looking at the latest source code anyway, apparently. Package projects again. Let's give them a little shot. And let's see if this is going to go down easy for us. It's been a quite like chill stream so far. We haven't done that much. Just gone over a lot of things and just like polish things up a little bit. Just like hang out for a moment. So it'd be really, really nice if this could just be... Fuck. Error code 6. Let's see. Documents. Object path is not a member of asset data. That's probably the issue. So that's the game mode, CPP line 100. Let's take a look at that. It's in here. Oh, that's the save function. That's not good. Object path. Oh. Is deprecated. Oh. That's maybe an issue. Does it say what I should use instead? Use get soft object path. Okay. Get soft object path. What does that return? A soft object path. Does that have a toString? Because if it does, that's all that I need to know. Following members might not be initialized. Card to add. Yeah, no, that makes sense. We just make it. We don't initialize that. Okay, so that might have been the only issue there. Let's try again. One of these days, it's gonna work. And then we're gonna open the game, and it's gonna crash immediately. Surely that won't be the case, right? Right? Surely this will just work and we'll have made a fun little game. Yeah, let's allow access. I wrote literally all this code myself. Well, not literally the engine. It would be kind of insane if I wrote all that myself. So it's going to have some issues because I think there was a issue there with cooking some of the content. Which was the content in the cards folder. So that is very likely going to be an issue. If we just scroll up a little bit while it's doing all that. Unable to find package for cooking. Game/cards. Packaging is complete though. So that is interesting. Let's see if we open up our builds. Windows. Oh! Oh, that's build, not builds. Builds.